know you are.
Hey, Matt. Congratulations. You deserve it. Manny!
Ian did those.
Hey, Matt. Very surprised, yes I am. Hey, were you surprised? Good. Congratulations. Mr. Cunningham, how you doing? Thank you.
Go up the song for 5 minutes.
Matt. Hello. Congratulations.
Dancing to the music played by the DJ on the radio. Cokes are in the icebox, popcorn's on the table. Me and my baby, yeah, we're out here on the floor. Oh yeah. So Mr. DJ, keep those records playing, 'cause I'm having such a good time dancing with my baby. Everybody swinging. Sally's doing that twist now. If you play request, I got a few for you. Play that one called Soul Twist. Play that one called I Know. Don't forget the mashed potato. No other songs will do. So Mr. DJ, keep those records playing, 'cause I'm having such a good time dancing with my baby, having a party. So Mr. DJ, keep those records playing, 'cause I'm having such a good time dancing with my baby, having a party. Everybody swinging, dancing to the music on the radio. Yeah, we're having a party. Everybody swinging, dancing to the music. Yeah, on the radio, bring it way down now. We're having a party. Everybody swinging, dancing to the music on the radio. We're having a party.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the 2005 Good Guy Awards ceremony. I'm going to start by introducing the head table. On my far right is Bill and Barbara Hooper, the 2004 Good Guys. The Reverend Rick Black and his lovely wife Janice from the United Methodist Church. Now on my left is Chuck and Matt, the Good Guys for 2005.
Gracious God, as we come together this evening to celebrate goodness in our midst, we are ever so thankful for those examples that surround us of people who are willing to give of themselves, to share with the community, to share with neighbors and friends, and even with those whom they don't even know, simply because it is the good and the right thing to do. Be with us this evening in this celebration. Let us truly worship in a joyful way as we consume this meal and as we celebrate with the good guys in our midst. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
Thank you very much, Reverend. I'm going to start serving the salads. We have with us State Senator Bruce Tarr, and he has a previous commitment, so he's like on a horse here, so we're going to get him up here to give his presentation. Bruce Tarr is probably the only guy you see tonight that's better looking than I am, so I introduce Senator Bruce Tarr. I had a lot of other things I was going to say about Senator, but he's in a hurry, so I'll leave him alone.
Well, thank you very much, Jim, and good evening. And I understand that the training wheels are still on, so we'll give you a little bit of latitude. It takes a long time to work up to being as abrasive as Harry, and so we'll give you some time to do that for tonight. I did try to get into the spirit of the evening a little bit and spend a couple of minutes out in the lobby with Harry, and just got my dose of humility for the upcoming year, which was great. And just got a second dose of humility when I was on the way up here, and Jim Maselli said, don't say everything, leave something for me to say. And I was thinking that I never say anything that Jim Maselli says, but anyway, it is great to be here with such an incredible crowd at such an incredible event. My recollection is that this is the first time that the Good Guy Award has ever been presented in stereo. And we have two DePasquales, so that it isn't much of a stereo kind of an event, but a wonderful event. And it's drawn out so many good people and continued this tradition in such a wonderful way. I unfortunately have to leave to go to another event, but I did want to bring my greetings and some Senate citations for these two gentlemen, and wanted to say from my perspective how very special it is that we gather together to recognize Chuck and Matt for all they have done, and very importantly to recognize one of the things that makes this town great, and that is the fact that it creates an environment where families have beliefs and values and traditions that get carried forward year after year to make the town a better place. The celebration that we have tonight is truly representative of that, and there are no two finer individuals that could be recognized as good guys, because in their own right they have contributed so much to this town and so much to the spirit in this community. And so I have a couple of citations. I know that you're going to be receiving a lot of these tonight over the course of time. If you speed on Route 62, you'll get a couple of more. I am very pleased to have citations, and first I'd actually like to ask Chuck to come up and join me at the microphone.
We love you, Chucky!
Thanks, Tom.
For those of you that didn't realize it, that was not a protester, that was Tom Pizzara from the audience. He is the president of the Chuck fan club, and he is here tonight. I'm sure he will be doing something outrageous later that I will be sorry that I missed. This is a state Senate citation, and I'm very proud to offer it. It reads, "Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Charles Chuck DePasquale in recognition of being the 2005 recipient of the Good Guy Award." There are more cameras taking pictures than when Mitt Romney gets his hair done. This is unbelievable. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate. This is signed by our Senate President, Robert Travellini. It's attested to by our Clerk, William F. Welch, and it's proudly offered by myself on May 13th of 2005 to a great, good guy. Congratulations, Chuck, and thank you for everything that you've done. Okay, now it's your turn.
That's what I'm talking about.
For those of you that did not recognize that voice, that was Tom Pizzara, the Vice President of the Matt DePasquale fan club. It's okay, Tom's just waiting to get to the microphone, I can tell. Tom, that's a great tan. I told you not to put your head in the microwave like that. It's not supposed to work that way. Anyway. It's okay. This is from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the State Senate. It's an official citation. It reads, "Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Matthew Matt DePasquale in recognition of being the 2005 recipient of the Good Guy Award. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to and a copy thereof transmitted by our clerk. This is signed by Robert Travellini, the President of the Massachusetts Senate. It's attested to by William F. Welch, who is our clerk, and it's offered by myself on May 13th of 2005. Matt, the same is true. You've done a wonderful job. You represent the very best in the spirit of this community, and both of you represent something that I know that your father was and is very, very proud of.
Thank you.
Yes, I could have said ditto, but I didn't because you probably went through a lot of that when you were growing up.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Before I depart the microphone, which all of you know is very, very hard for me, I did see some T-shirts that were out in the audience, and they said that I work for the good guys, and I can. That was not Tom Pizzara, by the way, but I do want to say that I feel very, very fortunate to represent all of you in the Massachusetts State Senate. But tonight I feel very, very fortunate that in representing two particular individuals in the Senate, I too work for the good guys. Thank you all very much.
What we've done this evening is made a very special meal for Matt and Chuck. And we have imported two French waiters, obviously all the way from France. We got Alphonse and Gaston to bring him two lovely lobster dinners. Don't they look French?
Hey, Monsieur,
Monsieur.
where the hell is Chubby and Mickey?
Chubby.
Which one is Chubby, which one's Mickey?
Don't touch that. I'm Mickey. Don't touch that.
Bon appetit, party. This is not the, this is for real.
Wait a minute.
If you need any drinks or anything, you get your own private waiters for the evening.
Polish kid go by.
And you can take your time eating because you don't have to stay anything till the end. So.
I want a tip.
I didn't know everybody we knew was going to come. They thought they were.
Chuck, how's that lobster? I don't know, man. I can't.
He's making a mess.
The lobster's hanging on. He doesn't want to. There we go.
No, this is the good guy award. The best pizza. We have the Rocco's Restaurant has the best pizza in town. Why do we have a pizza contest? No, it's up and uptown delis. Okay, goodbye. Okay, here we go. Our first speaker for this evening is the one and only Harry Cunningham.
One and only, I don't have a brother, huh? I don't have much to say. I'm up here for dual purpose, really. The mic is hurting. I'm just going to give you a short history, and a very short, on the origin of the good guy. Jim...
Hold it up for you.
Yeah.
Adjusted it for myself.
Mr. Buckley told you about the good guys here, but how the original good guys started off in 1967. And it seems the fellow in town by the name of Rocco DePasquale. Now, Rocco was really a good guy. He's in his restaurant one night, and a few of the friends said, hey, Rocco's a great guy, let's make a plaque. So they made a $4 plaque that said, Wilmington good guy. They went down, they gave it to the Rock, and the Rock is thrilled. So he feeds them for the entire night. And that was the origin of the good guy. So the next year, they said, hey, let's continue this on, and they had the Brooksides, and they had the Ray McNamara's, etc., and all these other people who have developed into being good guys throughout the town. Now, as Jim points out, the original man was the Rock. In fact, we were going to name the trophy after the Rock. We haven't got around to doing that. But Rocco was the original good guy and one of the finest ones. And for years, the good guy was personified by using the name of Rocco. But I think after tonight, the good guy is going to be personified by using the name DePasquale. This will make clear. Now, when I first came into town some 40 years ago, I started off by having a men's basketball team. And someone says you have to get uniforms and sponsor this, get this team sponsored. And I said, I'm brand new, where do I go? And the word was Rocco's. And this is no joke. I went down to Rocco's, never having met the man before in my life, having eaten in his restaurant at times. Went down there, presented my case, and left with a check. I have been going to Rocco's every year since then, along with 1 million other people in town. In fact, you'll find ruts in the road at Wilmington, and if you stand in that rut and follow it, it's like a bicycle wheel. These ruts will lead you right to Rocco's restaurant. And Chuck and Matt have just picked up where their dad left off, and it's a wonder these guys earn enough to eat, because they have fed and supplied people in this town time and time again. And they're just a chip off the father's block. He was a wonderful, wonderful man, a personal friend of mine, and these guys are no different. So that's what I'm here to say about Rocco and the origin of the good guy. But now I get paid double because I'm making the first presentation. One of the things I do now is not men's basketball, but I run a kitchen in the church at St. Thomas's for the women's craft fair every year, and we get the money and buy a scholarship. And so we got to sell food or give food away. We sell it, but we find people are going to give it away. So I walked outside my house, jumped into one of those ruts, headed right down to Main Street, to DePasquale's. Matty hides and he sees me coming. Chuck comes out, and I walk away with 7 or 8 pizzas per year. Well, the Women's Club is quite appreciative of that, okay? And so they asked me to make a small presentation, and it's only a few words. And this is St. Thomas Women's Club would like to present to the token of appreciation to Matt and Chuck for the continued generosity to the Women's Club annual craft fair, which generates a couple of scholarships per year. So, guys, we got a gift for you. First of many, I hope. Now, we could make you get up, but I won't do that. What better for a bar owner than a stein? And this stein says Wilmington Good Guy 2005, and this is for Matt. And this says Wilmington Good Guy 2005, Harry Cunningham. What a mistake. Before you sit down, we couldn't send these fellows back with an empty stein to put on the table, so we're going to fill them up, okay? Hang on a sec. We're going to get them cleaned, and the drink has been ordered. Hang on a second. Hey, hello? Hey, hey, hey. Hey, it's like trying to get served at Rocco's. Hey! I had that line, girls, before I saw you come in. I couldn't change it. Honest to God, don't touch my food tonight. But wait a minute, we're going to have someone waiting on it. Hello? Hello, you. You. One light beer. One rum Diet Coke with a lime. Wash them out there ready for you. Serve them to the guys, will you?
Harry's still a tough act to follow. Hey, Harry, do you know the police are out front there that there's been scalping tickets for this show? So, okay, now representing the Sons of Italy, Evelyn Oliveri. I'm going to get all these names correct. I get my vowels where they belong. Evelyn Oliveri. Yeah, you and Jim. Oh, hold it.
On behalf of the Sons of Italy, I'd like to present you with these plaques in honor of all your achievements and all that you do for our organization. Presented to Matthew DePasquale, Wilmington Good Guy, 2005, in grateful recognition of his contributions and friendships to the Wilmington Sons of Italy, May 13, 2005. Presented to Chuck.
The same one for Chuck. Hold them up, hold them up. Oh, hold them nice. Very nice. I have to put an extra wall in the restaurant. Okay, next we're going to have Renee Stenson, talking the Chernobyl project. She here? Renee. It's going to be an easy week.
I am honored to speak on behalf of this year's Good Guys, Matt and Chuck DePasquale. Although I have only lived in Wilmington for 6 years or so, it didn't take very long for me to realize that the brothers DePasquale were very involved in their hometown. And one of the many ways they were was to make sure that the residents of this town ate well. If they weren't providing the food for the various appreciation lunches for the hardworking teachers of the Wilmington school system, they were giving pizza-making instructions to their youngest customers. And back in the day before the leash laws were in effect, I'm told that the neighborhood dogs knew that if they went around back, they'd get a tasty treat. I came to know Matt and his wife Jane better when they offered to be a host family for 2 children from the Chernobyl Children's Project this summer. The Chernobyl Children's Project is a nonprofit organization providing rest, respite, and medical evaluation to children whose health has been affected by the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear power plant accident. The children, ranging in age from 8 to 14, although they were not even born when the plutonium, cesium, and iodine-131 rained down on this once fertile agricultural region, have radiation-related illnesses, and come to the Boston area to live with host families for a 4-week period, where a month of clean food, water, and air greatly improved their physical and psychological health. Since its inception in 1995, the project has brought over 1,200 children to Boston and the surrounding communities. The project is made up entirely of volunteers. Medical and dental professionals donate thousands of hours of care to assist these children, and the project works closely with several area hospitals to provide medical assistance for those in need. But it is the host families that have perhaps the biggest impact on these children from Russia, Belarus, and the Ukraine. The children have an opportunity to meet Americans and experience things they never thought possible. They are given the time to put their sickness and poverty aside, relax, and be a child for a few weeks. As a result, the host family experience provides the children with the love and support to help them preserve their heritage and offers them hope in restoring their lives. The host families get so much in return in knowing that they have given their children the confidence and dignity which helps them grow and return to their homeland with a renewed spirit of hope towards a brighter future. I can speak firsthand about this as I hosted 2 boys from Belarus last summer. Everyone in town was so generous with their time and made an effort to make the boys feel welcome. Matt and Jane were no exception. When the opportunity to bring children to Wilmington again this summer arose, they quickly signed on and came up with the idea for a dinner dance and auction. They have been instrumental in raising the necessary funds by hosting last week's Project Smiles benefit. In spite of the fact that the restaurant had been closed since April 2nd due to the fire, a delicious dinner was provided by Matt and his wonderful staff from Rocco's, and close to $5,000 was raised. I quickly realized how well loved they are here in town by the outpouring of support we received to make the benefit a glowing success. Everyone stepped up to make sure the event ran smoothly, from ticket sales to donations to the hall setup. Cindy and Scott, you should both go into event and party planning. Your input was phenomenal. It seemed to me that so many people wanted a chance to give back to the DePasquale family for what they have given to the town and its residents for many years. The DePasquale brothers are indeed good guys. Congratulations on an award well deserved.
Okay, our next speaker is going to be Harry C., who's a friend of the Matt and Chuck. I'll try to judge their height as they come up here.
The Good Guy Award Committee could not have picked a better pair than Matty and Chucky for this award. Both of them the nicest people you ever want to meet. I was debating on how I was going to do my speech tonight, if I was going to go serious, or tell you a bunch of stories about them. The problem is the stories are not suited for this crowd. So I will be serious. Both of them would not think twice about helping someone else, whether that is a personal friend, a family member, or a loyal customer. If I was a betting man, I bet if I asked people to raise their hand, everyone here was either given help by them or was told that they could get help from them. All they needed to do was ask. I've known the DePasquales for many years. Matty used to hang around with one of my relatives. Anytime we went to go see our cousins, Matty was there. Matty was there so many times we thought he was part of our family. I also played hockey with Matty at Austin Prep. Ooh. Matty will tell you stories about how many saves he made, how good he was, and how he made the team look good. However, I just want to state for the record that the defense makes the goalie look good. I did not have the pleasure of meeting Chuck until sometime later. My first impression of Chuck was not to mess around with him. He's a big, towering person who's had a very serious look to him. However, after getting to know him for a while, he's just a big teddy bear.
I'm big, but I'm not tough.
I could take it. The DePasquale family has been dealt some bad cards. Both Chucky and Maddie have some medical issues that most people know about here. But this doesn't stop them from thinking of everyone else first. Both of them will be the first to offer help to anyone who asks. My story is the same as many people within this room. When my kids were old enough to work, or came back from college, or finished a sporting season, Chuck and Maddie would see if they'd want a job at the restaurant. Both of them treated their employees and friends as extended family. Chucky and Maddie would try to help anyone in any way possible. As most of the employees who happen to have these shirts can tell you that if they had children, people who do have children, their children at one time or another did work for Rocco's. Chucky and Maddie spent their whole life working in the restaurant, and sometimes they say their whole life. They were taught at an early age to run the restaurant like a family. Anytime a loyal customer or friend comes in, Chucky and Maddie will try to go out of their way to just come by and say hi, see how things are going. This is what makes Rocco a true family restaurant. Chucky and Maddie, I want to congratulate you on this award. And if it was up to me, I'd give you this award each and every year.
I think this is the appropriate time to bring up Jane with all the kids up here and everything else to introduce the family and say what she has to say. Jane DePasquale.
I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Chuck and Matt. You already know their girls, Allison, Lauren, Samantha. Melanie's home and hopefully sleeping. In a lot of ways, Chuck and Maddie are very different. The restaurant, Chuck is more of the office guy, whereas Maddie spends more time in the kitchen. Chuck was into flying planes, Maddie's into making World War II model planes. However, in some ways, they have a lot in common. They never ever hesitate to give their employees a hard time whenever possible. We all know, I lost my place, sorry. We all know that occasionally employees break plates. When we're upstairs and hear a plate break, Matt tries to calculate how much that has just cost him. Then the next thing you know, he's telling the wait staff, when you see China on your paycheck, it doesn't mean that's where you're going on vacation. Maddie and Chuck love birthdays and are very sensitive to how their employees feel about their birthdays. When it's Carol's birthday, Matt takes every opportunity to remind her that he's actually younger than she is. This year, Susan didn't want any mention of her birthday. None at all. So Chuck, knowing this, posted a sign on the front door that read, "Make sure you all say happy birthday to Susan the waitress. If you don't know who she is, ask one of the hostesses." Ann was recently in the Market Basket parking lot talking to someone when her cell phone rang. A deep voice said, "Turn around," very slowly. In a panic, she looked around saying, "Who is this?" Then she heard Maddie laughing. Turns out he wasn't even there. Ann's daughter was at the restaurant and happened to tell Maddie where Ann was, and he decided to scare her to death. Both of them love cars. I mean, love cars. Do you know the real name of Rocco's? It's really Rocco's Restaurant and Auto Body Shop. Whenever you can't find one of the guys, they're in the parking lot tinkering around with the car. They both also adhere to what Denise and I refer to as Rocco's time. Basically, that means if either one of them say to us, "I'll be right there," it means no less than half an hour. Denise thinks I'm being generous. If they say I'm leaving right now, it means I'll be home sometime tonight. And I'll be there in about an hour means feed the kids, put them to bed, and you might as well pop in a DVD. Yes, that did happen this afternoon. Before Maddie actually proposed to me, we pretty much decided we were going to get married. One day we were at the mall, and at one point we're browsing in our own separate directions. When we got back to the truck, Maddie whipped out a ring and proposed to me right there in the parking lot. A while later, Maddie and I were with Chuck and Denise asked Maddie where he proposed to me. Looking a little embarrassed, Matt says, "In a parking lot." Chuck laughed, high-fived Matt, and said, "Hey, me too." So we both got parking lot proposals and married them anyway. But by far the greatest thing Chucky and Matt have in common is fatherhood. Samantha, Lauren, Allison, and Melanie will tell you they are great dads. They make pizzas and dough with the girls, work on school projects that sometimes spontaneously combust on the dining room table. They go to their games, play with them, buy them more candy than they need, generally spoil them rotten, expect great things from them, and in general, love them all to pieces.
What a great family. Now we have, I think, representing the employees of Rocco's, Tom Sears. I did say Sears, that's plural. You guys are in trouble.
Anymore, Tracy.
Come here, big boy.
That was her idea, but it's on behalf of all of us. One for you. Yeah, hand it down and go ahead and open your gift. Yep.
No money.
No money.
No tickets.
No money. This is actually Maddie's daughter's, Allison's idea. She came up with it. And I don't understand. What's this? I work for the good guys. I mean, is this what happens when two Irishmen run an Italian restaurant? You're not good enough to be good fellas, so you're just good guys. And not that I should talk, but judging by the physique of the two of them, I guess the food's pretty good. Say that.
That restaurant gets dark when those lights go off.
Yeah. I was in the basement. I know how dark it was.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. I was asked to speak on behalf of the employees, so I thought I'd tell you what it's like to be an employee for Chuck and Matt. And Reverend, forgive me for I'm about to sin. So. Speaking to the mic. All right. Can you hear me now? You don't want to hear me sing. Bad idea. First, if you're a waitress, you have had to either work for or applied for Hooters. As the sign said, right. Secondly, if you work in the kitchen, just leave your backbone at the door. You're not going to need it. I tell no lies. Also, it's very important if you work for us, you have to know how to spell the last name and pronounce it. But more important, you have to know Chucky's real first name. Very good.
Very good.
Yeah. Work, and it's not Charles, no. Working at Rocco's, you often hear, "Hello, sweetie." "Good morning, gorgeous." "How's my honey today?" "Hiya, buttercup." "How you doing?" "You smell delicious today. What are you wearing?" And that's how Maddie greets the cooks. Always the one to compliment.
Tell you how he greets us.
It's usually you're fired, now go home.
Told you 5 times.
When Chuck comes to work, it's best to leave him alone for about a half an hour or so. He's not a morning person. Sometimes the afternoons are bad, too. Yeah. And God help us if he works that night. Come to think of it, just let Chuck come to you and say hello. Yeah. Yeah. There's a language all its own at Rocco's, too. A warm body.
Look at it.
That's usually given to somebody who's just there. Not much more, just, you know, that's it. A wogs. W-O-G-S. Waist of good shoes. That's what the warm body wears when they come to work. Soon after that, they're MIA, if you know what I mean. FNG.
No need to explain that.
Yeah, self-explanatory for those who work there, but for the rest of you, it means the funny new guy or the funny new girl, usually given to the newest person who thinks they're all that, and then screws up. A blevet. Don't ask for the spelling. This was coined by Rocco many years ago, and it was passed on through the generations. And I first heard it one Thanksgiving morning. I was making 100 pounds of mashed potatoes in a bowl. Chuck knew it's not going to fit. Comes over with his Irish mist. And says, "Tom, that's a blevet." I said, "A what?" He goes, "You know, it's like trying to fit 5 pounds of crap in a 4-pound bucket. It's not going to fit." Very much the family atmosphere at Rocco's. They treat you just like one of their own, sometimes too much like their own. If you screw up, you know it. And one look at Chuck, and you know. No way, I'm not messing with him. I mean, look at the size of his hands. Just squash your head like a melon. And Maddie, though he may be a little short, but one look at those eyes, you know he's been hit in the head with a puck too many times. And sometimes they show each other just how much, and everybody else, how they love each other. Maddie yells, Chuck makes things move. When Maddie yells, the best way to describe it is like a tornado. When people say, all I heard was a freight train, lots of wind, stuff flying all over the place, lots of noise, and you're not sure what he's saying. It's like Maddie language. When 5 minutes later, it's like, hey, go next door, go to Dunkin's, get me a large iced coffee, milk and sugar, and get yourself something while you're at it, and you can keep the change.
Where's Kirk?
We've all been to Dunkin's for Maddie. Chucky, however. Well, I once saw Chuck move a 1,000-pound freezer full of food with one fell swoop and a push. It moved about 6 inches. Before the great conflagration of Rocco's, Chuck tried his hand at interior decorating. He didn't use the hammer, just the fist. Can't do that now. It's all bare stone. Be a bad idea. Well, you don't have to worry about getting fired at Rocco's. Chances are you'll be rehired. Yeah, sometimes more than once. And just like a family goes on vacation together, so does the crew of Rocco's. Once a year, Chuck and Matt invite all the employees and their families to Canopy Lake on Chuck and Matt. All expenses paid. Christmas time, they hold a Christmas party, they cater, open bar, and karaoke. A lot of karaoke. And if you're fortunate enough, Chuck puts the microphone down long enough and you can sing a song. In all seriousness, no, and this is where I get serious, Rocco's is the place to work if you're that teenage kid who needs a little money to buy a car. You come work for a couple years, make your millions, buy your car. And then when you get your car, you come back to the restaurant, show the bosses, and they'll help you pimp it out. There's Doug, Dirty Doug. All right. Or if you need a second or third job to make ends meet, Rocco's is the place to come. Many of us here, it is our second or third income. And Chuck and Matt know all too well what it's like to struggle to make ends meet. 6, sometimes 7 days a week, they're in there busting their butts to make $1. And all they ask of their employees is an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. In case I didn't make it clear just how great it is to work at Rocco's, standing in front of you, you have over 120 years of employment service to the restaurant. Congratulations, guys. Nice job. Let's go drink.
It always amazes me, and you go out of town and you tell people about Wilmington, and we have the good guy, we have the 4th of July, and how everybody knows everybody, and you see a great family like this, and what a great town Wilmington is to live in. You try to tell people that, but they just don't get it, you know? Okay, next we have Marlene Moran. She's going to talk on the 275th Anniversary Committee and the girls' field hockey team. Marlene is the one that got this all started. She's the first letter we received for these good guys.
Hi. Congratulations. I saw the town crier, and I decided to send this letter. I'd like to nominate Chuck and Matt DePasquale for this year's Good Guy Award. They provide many sporting teams in Wilmington with financial support, along with a place for their banquets. You know, we've been there many a times with our own kids, football, field hockey, ice hockey. And if you just look at the lobby in Morocco's restaurant, there's many plaques of thanks from those teams. They donated time and helped us out with the 275th Committee's Breakfast with Santa. It was a fundraising event that's trying to raise funds for our parade. And without Chuck in the kitchen, we couldn't have pulled that off. And the girls were also there to help us. They were great. You know, they both go above and beyond to help any organization looking for any assistance, and I think Chuck and Matt are more than deserving of this reward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next we have Mr. Bob Peterson. Talk about the Peterson Memorial Golf Tournament.
Thank you, Jimmy. This is actually like a regular Friday night to me because I usually spend it absent the fire at Rocco's, and I recognize all my favorite faces: Maura, Carol, Cindy, Ann, because Rocco's is usually where I am on a Friday night. And I notice also faces of regular customers: Ray McCurry, Jim Rooney, whose office is the only one that hasn't been affected by the fire. When Regina asked me to speak this evening, I was actually honored, and I thought about how far back my family's relationship goes with the DePasquales. My father was telling me the other evening that he was actually at the restaurant when it opened on July 4th, 1940, as his father was very friendly with their grandfather. I had the privilege and the pleasure of knowing Rocco DePasquale for many, many years. And it's also been a privilege and a pleasure for me to know Matt and Chuck. When my mother died of breast cancer in September of 1997, as a family we decided to carry on her memory by establishing a scholarship fund. And in the 7 years since her death, we've been fortunate and lucky enough to raise over $100,000 in scholarship funds, half of which we've already given away, and another $5,000 of which we'll give away in June of this year to Wilmington residents who are graduating from high school. As anybody who's ever run a golf tournament knows, you don't make any money on golfers. Your money comes from your raffle prizes and any donations you're able to obtain for the tournament. When we first decided to run the tournament in 1998, these two guys were probably one of the two first guys we approached about making donations. And I'll echo the sentiments of many of the other speakers here this evening. They never even hesitated when we asked. Every year they've donated a slew of gift certificates to Rocco's, all of which have enabled us to raise a substantial amount of money. And as a family, we're very, very grateful to both of them. And I stand here this evening honored to honor the both of you as good guys and privileged to call the both of you my friends. There couldn't have been any two better deserving recipients than the two of you. Congratulations.
What I did for our state rep, Jim Maselli, is I pulled up his, got on his webpage, and I got all his history, what he's done for the town. And I think we all know what he has done for the town. He served this town for 28 years in the House, if I'm correct. Well, one thing I found out about Jim, you know how we all pick on the politicians for the Big Dig tunnel, better known as a car wash. Well, Jim had nothing to do with that. In fact, he voted against it. What Jim had proposed 10 years ago is that they put a bridge over the city. The only stipulation that he wanted it named after him. And then they said this, the rest of the senators, well, you can only have 3 bridges named after you, Jim, you know. But like I said, Jimmy has served this town well. I don't think there's anybody in this room that Jimmy hasn't done something for or affected. Jim is a great state representative, and he's going to get up in here, come up and say a few words.
Boy, this is set perfectly. Usually I have to fool around with this.
That's why we get rid of Harry.
Yeah, let me tell you what a relief that is. I'll tell you a funny story. I had a fundraiser earlier, last year, and Harry was the MC there. And every time I would bump into him, he would say, "Boy, I can hardly wait to take care of you." I had a couple of politicians there that night. I had the Speaker of the House, who's now the Speaker of the House, and the Chairman of Ways and Means. And I said, this guy is going to be merciless. And I think they kind of pushed you around a little and turned you around. And I gave you the final kibosh on that. But I'll tell you, I've never heard a roast like I heard earlier this evening. Boy, those employees, how many are going to be lined up next Monday with their finishing notice. But they did a great job. And something that was said earlier, we all do live in a great town. It's a wonderful community, and it is a community. And what makes that the kind of town that it is are the families in this community and the individuals who are free to contribute and always there when you need help. And this family, and I've got to say it, everyone else has said it because it's true, more than any other family has always been there for this town. And their dad, Rocco DePasquale, was an icon in this town, served on the Board of Selectmen, chaired the board, president of the bank, and always there ready to help. And something you may not know, if there was a death in a family, and I've been to more than one of these, they took care of all of the food preparation for after the Mass and the services, gratis. So wonderful people, and this was passed on to the two sons who are being honored tonight. And I've got to say this to Bruce. Bruce read that citation. It isn't Charles DePasquale, it's Chucky. Those of us who live here know that. And what I'd like to add also is, you know, the dad was really an icon in this community, but their mother was very active. And I don't like doing this. I've been around long enough to remember sitting down and conversing with their grandfather. And, you know, I'm dating myself. Terrific family. I'm not being redundant when I say that. And they've done a wonderful job for this community. And it's a privilege for me tonight to be here and to make these following presentations. And when I was asked earlier this evening, are you in a hurry? I wouldn't miss this for all the tea in China. You have picked two people, like you've done in the past, who really deserve this honor, and it's long overdue. And what better way to do this? Your dad received the first one, and the two of them being honored now, this committee couldn't have done a better job. First one, because he's the nearest, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Matt DePasquale in recognition of your receiving Wilmington's Good Guy Award and of the great deeds that have made you so deserving of this honor. You have dedicated yourself to doing great things in the community. Wilmington is fortunate to count you among its citizens. You truly are a good guy. The entire membership extends its very best wishes, expresses the hope for future good fortune, continued success in all endeavors, and it's signed the 13th day of May, 2005, at the State House by Salvatore De Macy, Speaker of the House, offered by James Maselli, Chairman. Let's see, Matt DePasquale, Salvatore De Macy, James Maselli. Someone said yesterday, when I first came to the House, there was an advantage in having a vowel before your name, and now there's a distinct advantage in having a vowel at the end of your name. And on an equal plane, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers the sincerest congratulations to Chuck DePasquale in recognition of your receiving Wilmington's Good Guy Award and to recount the great deeds that have made you so deserving of this honor. You have dedicated yourself to doing great things in the community. Wilmington is fortunate to count you among its citizens. You truly are a good guy. The entire membership extends its very best wishes, expresses the hope for future good fortune, and it's signed the 13th day of May, 2005. Sal De Macy, Speaker of the House, James Maselli, Chairman. Chucky, congratulations.
Matt, Chuck, it is an honor to be here tonight when I was asked to speak on behalf of the Board of Directors of Wilmington Junior Camp, better known as Camp 40 Acres. For those of you that don't know anything about Wilmington Junior Camp, I'd be surprised if you don't, but We're a nonprofit facility donated to the youth of Wilmington and the surrounding communities, and the facility is overseen by a volunteer board of directors. And for over 50 years, we've been open to try and make sure that the kids of Wilmington and the surrounding communities have a place to recreate, to camp. I'm sure more than a few of you have been up there and have some great memories of being there. Well, a number of years ago, we started to realize that the camp needed some work. And through Mr. Maselli, we asked, you know, how can we, with the limited budget that we had, get some help renovating the camp. And when Jim talked to us and led us in the right direction to the National Guard and the Army Corps of Engineers, we decided that we needed to establish a bigger place to park and to establish a field, and we petitioned those people to see if they could help us. And we didn't hear anything for a while. Another call to Mr. Maselli, and he said, I'll get on it and see if I can get this thing rolling. Well, we got a call from a Major General about sometime at the end of June, I forget the year now, that said, I think we might be able to help you, but we're doing a project in Reading, and we'd like to send a few guys over there to see if we can help you with your project. We do have one stipulation, however. We do have to ask you if you could feed the boys. I said, well, when would you like to start? And they said in about 3 days. So after a big gulp, so how do you do that? How many? They were going to give us 2 weeks of work, and we had to put this together in 3 days. So we called a number of people very quickly on the phone and asked for some donations, and asked if anybody could please help us feed a few soldiers that were up there helping the kids for the camp and renovating it. And we got a mixed response from some people. I think I can say this now because I don't think these people are in operation anymore in Wilmington, but I think we got a donation for a $5 gift certificate at a Chinese restaurant for however many soldiers were going to be there. It equals about 1/10 of an egg roll apiece, I think. When we called Rocco's, it wasn't just, first they asked how many people, and we said there's probably going to be about 10 to 12 soldiers. Well, they put together a meal that was fit for a number of kings and queens. It was just phenomenal, and what happened was you kind of put us in a bad spot because they were sending over 12 soldiers to help us work on this project. And after you guys fed them, we had about 36 guys show up. And they wouldn't leave. I'll just never forget that. It was a wonderful and unbelievable thing. And also, last year when we asked if we could help, if we could serve one of the meals at the 4th of July celebration again, we gave a call to Rocco's, and they helped us tremendously. I know I'm going to get in trouble by saying this, but a number of people have said that our meal was by far the best food there. Well, without further ado, if I can find it. I truly believe that a good guy, or good guys, are not defined by the size of somebody's wallet, but by the number of times that they didn't say no to people that asked for their help. So to present to Matt and Chuck DePasquale, in appreciation for your continued support of Camp 40 Acres, your generosity has helped us to ensure the availability of the camp for youth groups both now and into the future. So on behalf of the Board of Directors, I want to thank you all.
Yes, sir. Another one? Boy, Harry, you're a lot of problems.
Doesn't have a ticket.
We're sold out, we know that. The cops were out there an hour ago.
I'll take care of it.
Take care of it. Another pizza guy. Woo! I think I recognize this guy. Come up here, Mr. McCoy. This looks like the real McCoy here. What? Look at that. Good job. No, this is the second one that's come in. This isn't the pizza cook-off. This is the good new guy award.
Good guy award. Who's the good guy? All right, this is not Chef Boratti. This one here? I'm not Chef Boratti. Before I acknowledge why I'm here, I was told that it would be a pizza spin-off contest, but didn't realize that the DePasquale brothers were going to be the good guys of the year. If they're going to give it to them, my God, they'll give it to anybody. I'd just like to acknowledge a few people I see in the audience. I see brand new chairman of the board, Ray Lapointe here. How you doing, Ray? I'm really glad. Somebody must have given him permission. Suzanne Sullivan said he could come here tonight. But other than that, what really happened was Jim Maselli gave permission to Suzanne to give permission to Ray to also be here tonight. Anybody else here? Frank West. Is Frank around? No, he's not, huh? There he is. I don't know. A little while ago, some people were a little concerned about front page of the Advocate, executive session meetings getting out, and we don't know who did that, and you know, everybody was talking about it, but I don't really know who ever would do anything like that. Frank West. You know? I see he's our town manager here. I see Mike. Oh, there he is. I got to get back to him because when Bernie Nally retired, he introduced Mike Newhouse, Mike Cairo, Mike McCoy as small, medium, and supersize. Now I get to realize I notice he's all in favor of the library, and I think I get the picture why he's in favor of the library. Not too long ago, I went to the middle school in the public safety building, and I see a big, beautiful bronze plaque, and it says, Town Manager Mike Cairo, Superintendent Geraldine O'Donnell, Chief of Police Bobby Stewart, Bernie Nally. And then I'm starting to wonder, I go, geez, I wonder why he wants this library. I guess evidently he wants a plaque to put his name on the new library because, after all, we're not building any bridges. Jim Maselli's got that market all cornered. Speaking of my uncle, I see him there. I remember when I used to be related to the guy. He told me one day, he goes, nephew, I would drive around. I was in this car, house 32, but I noticed when I parked, it's been such a while, now it's house 14. So anyway, we go over the bridge. He goes, you know, nephew, one of these days, they're going to name this 62 bridge after me. Well, if you wish hard enough, dreams do come true. And I'll tell you, I was one of the members to vote for him on that bridge. You know, well, I don't want to keep, you know, many more you at bay here. I just thought I'd come in and on a serious note, you know, usually on a Friday night, I'm so busy at the restaurant, I can never ever make these good guy awards. But all honesty, when I heard it was the DePasquale brothers, I wanted to take the time and effort to be here for you guys. I mean that sincerely. I mean, not that you're not in business lately, and by the way, my business has picked up over the last few weeks. And I drive by every day and I see minimal work getting done. I go, geez, that's great, that's great. You know? But in all sincerity, you know, and I want to tell people that other than Michael's Place, I do dine in other restaurants. Believe it or not, you can attest to the fact I brought my wife and my children in your restaurant. They have a really good restaurant.
Chucky, it works both ways, buddy. You can come to my restaurant, too. But, you know, I saw them a couple of times this week. Chuck, if you want to just come up here for a quick minute, can you come up here? Now, believe it or not, I've seen Chucky more this week than I've seen my own wife, because after all, if you take a look at both of us, I've seen him at the Big and Tall Man shop. But I want to do, in all sincerity, seriously, when you open up, I mean it, it's a great restaurant. I go there, I enjoy the Rocco Pompeii platter, the wedding soup. I mean, obviously I know it, and his dad was a super dad. He was our baseball coach many, many years ago. Yeah. And I want to let you know, when you open up, I want to call because I want to be one of the first customers to patronize. And I hope everybody patronizes that restaurant. It's a great restaurant. I think it's one of the best Italian foods in town. Well, I'm going to have to leave because somebody has to go back to the restaurant and close. Like I said, I wish I would be here more often. I'm just really busy at the restaurant. And once again, it's an honor and a privilege to be here with you guys. And I'll tell you, not often I take a Friday night off to be with somebody. And I know when I go home, my wife's going to say the same thing.
I have to admit, Chuck, and I mean Charlie, no Chuck. I'm a fast learner. And Matt, I can only say that there was a lot of good phrase for both of you tonight, and you earn it, and you deserve it, your family, your heritage. It's incredible. I really believe it's an honor that your father was the first Good Guy Award, and in behalf of him, knowing that he had two sons following him, that's a great achievement for the town, to yourselves. I don't think I can sum it up any better than that. I want you to know, as a selectman, though, I worked very hard for the both of you. I personally went down, before I can give you the two bowls that I'm going to present to you, that I did count your parking spaces. And as far as the pizza, the real McCoy, he said everything in there, including the kitchen sink. Well, being in the business that I'm in, I'm going to stay away from that. Please don't call Mike up and ask him what's in there the next time you see him. And also, after this is all done, now that we're having a selectmen's meeting tonight, I have to talk to my colleagues, because I was looking and everybody's coming up here and they're reading and they're presenting both of you with something, you know, awards. Unfortunately, my colleagues didn't give me anything to read, so I have to do it, you know, right from the heart. But I did bring from my colleagues, from the community, all the people, and even your friends outside the community, I'm sure, that I'm going to present to both of you on behalf of everybody, two Revere Bowls.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Okay, we all know that this town is a town manager, board of selectmen type of government. But we also have a mayor in this town. Nothing happens without going through this gentleman. Next gentleman I'm going to introduce is Jack Cushing, the mayor of Wilmington.
Tonight is going to be kind of a special occasion for me, because this is actually the 25th anniversary that I had the pleasure of sitting in the seats that these gentlemen are sitting in tonight. And I hope they had the same feeling that I did. When I looked out across the room and I saw the Backmans there, and the Ray McNamara's, and the Larry Knowles, and the Joe O'Neills, and people with that stature, and I kind of wondered, why am I here? And that you just get that feeling that everything is just, the town is there and they're behind you so much, and it was a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And I hope you guys are getting the same thing. But there was also two people that I focused on that night. One of them was my father, who was the person probably most responsible for me being involved in the activities in the town. And that I try to follow in his footsteps. And my first volunteer program was through my father. The second one was a guy that I used to go to his restaurant all the time, and I enjoyed him totally as a friend. And the more I get into work in the community, the number of times that he helped me out with causes that didn't want to talk about because we didn't want to try to put too many people in there asking for stuff, but he was always there to support me, and he always encouraged me into doing things. And that night was quite an honor for me because I could sit out there, and at the end of the night, my feeling was, when they took my picture, was that I was in a group of wonderful people led by their father, Rocco DePasquale, and it was a total pleasure for me. The other part of the family that was the silent majority that you didn't hear too much was Rita. And she was just as unbelievable as Rocco was. That the time and effort that she put into things, it was really great. So when I got the phone call and asked if I would come in and say a few words about them, it was a total pleasure for me because, as people have said before tonight, Rocco was the ultimate good guy, and his two sons coming along exemplify just what Rocco stood for. So on behalf of all the other good guys, I'm glad to have these two guys with us now. Now, the two groups that I'm here to represent tonight, one of them is the kids in the high school, and that as you go through the different things that they did, there was a lot of teams that when we get into the 2.5 and money became tight, then the banquets that we used to have at the high school really got kind of pushed aside, and the sports teams really had to fend for themselves. And these two guys were always there to help those sports teams, whether it was football, field hockey, ice hockey, name all the different sports, baseball, wrestling. When everybody had their little thing that they had to do, these guys chipped in to help out and made it worthwhile so the thing could be a family affair. And it wasn't just the athletes that were being rewarded, it was their families also. So in getting with Ed Harrison, the athletic director, that I'm taking his place tonight, one of the things that we felt is that through the years, they've put their time and effort in. So tonight, we're going to make them official members of the high school athletic group. And they now have earned their varsity awards for the year 2004-2005. So if you both want to come up, Matt and Chuck. This is Matt. This is their official notification. Now, to be an athlete like that, then you have to have a hat that goes with it. And we have their good guy Wildcat hats.
Oh, you got one of these.
Good, now I go.
Get the right names, get the right names. And to add to that, they'll get their number, they get their letter with this year's number 05. So they are the good guys for this year. Those are all in here, right? So you're now official members of the, well, I know this is tough on Matt because he comes from Austin Prep.
I have a Wilmington letter and an Austin Prep letter.
Don't run away, Matty. Now, the other group that I represent is the Interact kids of the high school. And this is a high school group that's under the Rotary program. And that one of the projects that we had been working on for 3 or 4 years was, as everybody knows, the sign in front of the Roman House now. And this is a program that the kids worked long and hard on to raise the funds for that. We were coming down into the final stretch, and we needed a few more dollars to get over the top. We had planned on having a breakfast. One of the things that kind of hurt was that we were trying to keep this as a family type of thing and to keep the price down. So a couple of places that we went to, when we found out what the rent was going to be for the hall, it kind of took away from the idea of what we were trying to do with the family breakfast. So lo and behold, the good guys jumped in. So the breakfast that last November was held at Rocco's restaurant in the morning. And the kids made enough money that they were able to finalize their sign that now stands out in front of the high school. And these are the two guys that helped them out doing that. So now, tonight, I am going to officially make both of them members of the Wilmington Rotary Interact Club, and they get their shirt to go with it. Welcome to the crowd. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't want you to trip. Okay. Let's get ready to rumble. Norman Stone, get up there. I like that look he's giving me.
I don't know why I come up here the first time, but I'm here for the second time, I guess. The same thing happened to Johnny Ruiz, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. I'm not much of a talker during the day because I went to night school, so I gotta give myself a break here. And if I really do talk, the kids will have to leave. I'm the only X-rated boxing show on HBO and Showtime, so... You know, I moved to Wilmington about 20 years ago, and I met two guys, and that's not Larry Murch and Jim Lampley either, because those are two guys I don't like to meet. These two guys have been my savior. Believe me when I tell you that. As I said in the paper the other day, they better hurry up and open up. I got no place to eat. Matty and Chuck come to all of Johnny's fights, and the people at Rocco's. Let's give them a hand, too. You know, believe it or not, fight time the last week, I'm really nervous. Really, really nervous. And when they show up, I know I only got a couple hours to go towards the fight, so I know things are wearing down, my heart's beating, and I'm praying to God that I don't swear, but sometimes he doesn't come through for me. With Chucky and Matty there, they come up, they do what they got to do, and they know I'm a maniac at that time, and they say, good luck. And then I see them afterwards, and I see all the people from Rocco's afterwards. My wife learned a long time ago not to go to fights with me. She stays home and watches it on TV with earplugs. These guys, believe me when I tell you this, have been the two greatest guys that I met up here. And believe me, I'm from Somerville, so when I was a kid, I used to say, where do you think I'm from, Wilmington? These guys reached out to a maniac, me. I went in their restaurant, I liked their food, as Mike said, that the guy that left there, the pizza guy. I'm surprised Chucky didn't choke him to death, but we'll let that one pass. They reached out, they started coming to the fights, we became real good friends. I can go in there, I can talk to Chucky, I can swear, my usual Somerville talk, and not have to worry about my wife saying the kids are around. Or swear and the girls will say, don't worry about it, Stoney, we're used to you. But when you, I've been, like I said, you know, I've been around a lot of people and I've done a lot of things in my lifetime. For a guy that's only 40. Don't let the gray hair fool you, that's what I tell everybody. Snow on the roof, but a lot of guts inside of it. I'm lost for words. I can say this, you know, from the bottom of my heart. As I said, I've been around the world, I've done a lot of things, and I reached out and helped a lot of people. And for these guys, I see what I've done, and they see these guys tripled it. They've always reached out every time I'm in there talking or doing something with somebody, with Matty and Chucky, and someone will come up and just say something, and they'll get up and whatever has to be done, they do. And he forgets about me. What the hell is going on here? I just lost a fight that probably cost me $10 million. But you know what? through the help of God and through two great guys like this, they turned the decision around. I don't know how. I was in the Depression, believe me, for 9 days, let me tell you that. I seen $20 million, actual cash, roll down the street when we lost that fight. But it's back. We found out that drugs are no good. But you can say what you want, it helped the hell out of me. You know, and I hate to say that because I've been clean and sober for 24 years without a drink or a drug. Chucky's place didn't want to know me when I was drinking. You think I'm bad now? But life changes, and when you meet good people, good things happen to you. And I firmly believe that. And you people are good people. You know something? These two guys are the greatest guys that I've ever met, that have been around, that reach out to touch people. And it's not like reach out to touch somebody, somebody's there. No, these guys are great guys, and they really need to be appreciated. I'd love everybody to get up on their feet and give this guy a standing ovation. My corner every time I go to the fight. Matty and Chuck. Your wife told me not to bring her anything because she knows how I am, so I had to leave it at home, Matt. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Norman. Okay, we're winding down here. Representing the Wilmington Kiwanis Club, Marsha Olson. You almost yell into this one.
Okay. On behalf of Wilmington Kiwanis, we'd like to thank both Maddie and Chucky for all your years of service and assistance to our organization. You guys been there forever for us whenever we've needed anything for any of our functions, especially during our little to-do on the Common and the 4th of July celebrations. You know, you guys have always been there for us, and we really appreciate you guys. And we'd like to give the both of you honorary memberships to Kiwanis International. Which hopefully you'll appreciate. And we have a little plaque here made up, presented to Chuck and Maddie DePasquale of Rocco's Restaurant. Thank you for all your tireless efforts in all our endeavors, Wilmington Kiwanis Club. Thank you.
I'm here on behalf on the Eric T. Hill Foundation. This goes to show you that what Chuck and Matt, but I mostly know Chuck, what he does also goes beyond Wilmington. The foundation was created in honor of a very special 5-year-old boy, Eric Hill. It was set up to honor Eric's life by delivering to children and youth in his name and spirit happiness, hope, opportunities to grow, thrive, and embrace life as he did. Through the charitable works of the foundation, we hope to continue to touch lives of others in a way that is as special as the way Eric touched the lives of countless people. One of the ways that we did to get the fundraising going was to get together a fun and fitting tribute, a family wiffle ball tournament. Now comes Chuck's part. What would a fun-filled day of games and laughter be without our very own Santa Claus? For the past 2 years, Chuck has supplied all of the food for the event, which is sold, and in turn the profits go back to the foundation. With his steadfast and quiet manner, Chuck mans the snack shack for the entire day, not to mention comes the day before to help set up. He always has a smile for every child and adult for that matter. His completely selfless manner is one to be admired. He has never once asked for any recognition for all his contributions. When I finally did get around to posting signs during our second tournament,
saying thanks to Rocco's restaurant for providing the food, Chuck just smiled and then went back to work. The event is an all-day affair, and though fun is had by all, it is a very long and tiring day. Chuck never seemed to waver, even when he was sweltering in the tiny snack shack. I cannot imagine the cost that Chuck takes on with his generous donations, but I can tell you what the foundation has gotten in return. Because of our successful fundraising, the foundation has helped pay for beneficial therapies not covered by insurance, building a ramp for access, helping to pay for a specially equipped van so a senior can attend college, financial assistance for a liver transplant and a heart operation, supporting juvenile diabetes, providing resources for homeless children and the Sun Santa. We have also established 2 scholarships in Woburn and Dracut and will contribute to the new children's library being built in Dracut. All of the recipients have been children. Chuck, you truly are a good guy. You're a great man with a giant heart. It's people like you that make me keep the faith. We may not say it enough to you, but thank you for being you. I don't have any tokens or anything to give you. All I have is my heartfelt appreciation and my love.
Regina.
And on behalf of our siblings, this is what I have for you. Yeah. Well, first of all, I had to bring the bag. Just hold on to this, because you'll need it. Here you go. You'll find out later. Or you can drop it. You know, one thing that no one really brought up tonight was that my brothers are huge fans of the lottery. So for the 2 of you, we all chipped in, even though we're out of work, and got you some scratch tickets. So here you go, Maddie. And here you go, Chuck.
Let me touch his first.
No. Go ahead, open them. Go ahead. Don't worry, you didn't win anything. I don't know how many of you know, this winter, around Christmas time, Maddie and Chucky both got iPods, and they were really excited about it. Maddie asked Chris, my husband, for all his old, 80s CDs and everything like that. He had to put on those 80 discs and stuff. And, the siblings got together, but we're out of work. We had all intentions of buying you guys newer, bigger, better iPods, but we couldn't do it. So Chris came up with the idea. We started drinking Pepsi, and lots and lots and lots and lots of Pepsi. I'm up to here with Pepsi, Mary Jo too. Mark helped. And here, each got 5 songs. I was supposed to preface this whole thing to say, I had no idea my brother Chucky's name was Rocco. Honest to God, this is honest, until I was in my teens. I thought his name was Charles. I really did. Whenever anybody called for Rocco, and a lot of his high school friends would call him Rocco, I thought they were calling my father, and I'd say, no, he's not home. Chuck, I'm sorry. Missed dates, appointments, whatever. It's my fault. I honestly did not know his name was Rocco. All right. So you all heard that they love cars. And I do have a secret love of cars myself. When I see, Stoney's cars when he pulls in, and when Chuck and Matt show me his cars, and I had the honor of having Maddie's car in my driveway for a couple of weeks, and I thought it was pretty cool. I said to my siblings, Matt, Mark, and Mary Jo, I think we should chip in and do something really big for these guys because they deserve it. You know, they're good brothers. But we're out of work. So, y'all know that they like to fix up cars. So I got each of them a car. I got a 72 Buick Riviera for Chucky. Wait a minute. And I got a 66 GTO for Maddie. And, you know. Take the glue and take all your spare time with the restaurant not open. Got my briefcase. You know, I honestly have to say, I really am done. And you know what? It's really hard for me to get up here in front of the microphone. It's always been. It's not karaoke. You're probably very happy it's not. But I love my brothers dearly. And I can't say enough about them. They've been there for myself, my brother, my sister. They've always given us a job up until about April 2nd. And, you know, I just want to say, Mom and Dad are very proud of you now. They're looking over us all now. They're having a big laugh. They're enjoying it. They're so happy to see friends and family. And mostly, I know they're very proud of their two sons, who work very, very, very hard. And their wives know, and their kids know, that they put their hearts and soul not only into their families, but into that restaurant. And thank God for that. And thank God for you guys. I love you very, very, very much.
Our next speaker is a man who I've always admired, and you never really have the chance to tell people. This man is always so busy, you don't have a chance to stop him and tell him what a great job he's doing. What I thought I've been in this town 30 years, and I'm just glad that he is our town manager. Mike O'Kyra.
Good morning. What the hell time is it, huh? The prize for anybody who can remember the first speaker. This thing started last night. Bruce Tower was really the first speaker. Actually, the first speaker was the minister, but he had the good sense to leave. And then we had Harry Cunningham, who talked about the ruts on Route 38. Route 38 is a state road. Regina, the restaurant's closed. So what do you think of my Board of Selectmen, huh? Now do you feel sorry for me? I hope that was on tape. I hope you got Mike McCoy on tape, because I want 3 of them. And you know, you're always thinking about who would fit in, who could be a selectman on that board. Norm Stone, what are you doing? What are you doing? Norm says he doesn't know where to go to eat now, because he always eats at Rocco's, and of course it's been closed. Well, I just want to let Norm know that one of the selectmen does have a restaurant. Just make sure you go to the right business, the right one. And how about Jack Cushing, huh? Jack Cushing was the good guy 25 years ago. He got the Good Guy Award 25 years ago. I can attest to that because I was the Master of Ceremonies at that time, and you probably should take a look at the tapes, Jim, because you're not doing that well. And I do remember it very well. As a matter of fact, you remember what Jack said. He said he sat there and he wondered how he was in that position. I got news for you, Jack. We all wondered how you were in that position. And how about you guys, Matt and Chuck? Isn't that a pleasure to find out after all these years you're a couple of athletic supporters? Well, you know, one of the things that their father, Rocco, probably enjoyed more than anything else was a joke. He would always come up to you and tell a joke. And I see that Mr. Kelly is here, who's a former good guy. And how about the fact that the town was finally smart enough to recognize Frank Kelly, and we're going to name the high school track after him. Michael Kyra, Frank Kelly, track. It's got a great ring. But Mr. Kelly has always wanted to tell a joke, and Rocco and Mr. Kelly, they kind of tell the same kind of joke. So let me give you a quick version of one of their jokes. They'd say something like, "Why are there so many Smiths in the phone book?" And the answer, of course, is because they all have phones. It's his joke. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the one of the featured stars of that show, that cable show that's broadcast. It's a reality show. Monday night. Survivor. And I noticed, I don't know Miss Della Russo, a lovely lady who came up here, but it was a little bit strange when she came up here and she said, "I mostly know Chuck." And how about those employees, huh? There must have been 50 of them up here. All of those employees, there's really some significance, I think, to so many employees coming to pay tribute to their bosses. It's something that I'll never know. But the interesting thing about it is they just, you know, poured out their generous heart and got them each a T-shirt. I mean, there's 50, figure it out, 26 cents a piece they put in there for the T-shirt. But they're unemployed, right. Tom Sears, you talked about the initials. I have an initial for you and for all your employees. PDC. Pretty damn cheap. Now, we're not cheap here in the town of Wilmington. We were thinking about getting you something special, a Mustang or something like that, but Ray Lepore insisted on those bulls. But I wanted to get something with a little more meaning, something that's worth a little more for both of you. Forget about these citations. I mean, they're nice, but I got 2 $4 off coupons to the Piccadilly pub. You can have the citation. I'll take $4 off fish and chips any day. You know, let me be, well, I won't be too serious, but let me just talk about one person first who hasn't been mentioned as much as she should be, and that's Rita DePasquale. She was just an absolute joy to be around, and I got to know her so many times, and she would, we would be at an event or a Sons of Italy function or some banquet or maybe the good guy, and at the end of the night she'd be sitting there and Rocco would be doing his thing and I'd walk over and sit down and she would look at me and she'd say, the only other Republican in the room. Now, I don't know if she said that because she felt sorry for me or if she was really a Republican. Probably the only other Republican in the room, and you'll probably remember him, was Senator Bob Buell, who used to come to all of these events so many times. And Bob, of course, he wasn't big on policy, but he was very good on combs. And I still have my Bob Buell comb. You can see that it doesn't get a whole lot of use. And he hasn't been around for 12 years. Matt has his Bob Buell comb too, I think. But I know it's getting late. I just want to say that my family has a long and very, very special relationship and history with Rocco and Rita's family. I was, given one of the greatest honors that I could ever have been bestowed during one of the most difficult times for the families and for the people who loved Rocco. I was asked to do and to give Rocco's eulogy at the funeral mass, and I remember how much that meant to me to be able to express myself about a person that meant so much to so many. And I think the greatest compliment that I could give to Chuck and to Matt and to Mark and Regina and to Mary Jo is that they are chips off the old block. That's really what they are. They are their parents. And I talked about the fact, one of the things I said that day was that Wilmington weeps for its favorite son. Today, Regina is absolutely right. There's no weeping in heaven. They are so proud of their family, and we are so proud to be a part of this very, very special celebration. It's a privilege for me to stand here and to be able to say that I'm a friend of the DePasquales, and to be able to know that these are the good guys that represent the town of Wilmington. Thank you very much.
Matt, Chuck, this is a letter that I was asked to read from Debbie Cipriani, the Recreation Director. It says, on behalf of the Recreation Department, the Recreation Commission, and as a member of the town's 275th Anniversary Committee, I would like to send my congratulations to you both, and I'm sorry, I'm not too nervous here. The 2005 Town of Wilmington Good Guy. Last December, 400 people had the opportunity to kick off the Christmas season by having breakfast with Santa. This new event which delighted both children and adults, included a full breakfast, a craft project, and a visit with the jolly old man himself. When the 275th Anniversary Committee decided to undertake a fundraiser for this size, there was only one man who could fill the bill, and that was only Chuck and Matt. With the generous working of their challenging committee, and you know who you are, they prepared and delivered all the food for only the cost of the ingredients. They repeatedly refused to include compensation for their time or expense, let alone profit. But let's get down to the most important aspect of the whole event. Not only did they prepare and help serve the food for this hungry group, these men responsible for Santa's lap. When Santa needed a place to sit to allow wide-eyed children to climb up and relay their wish lists, it was on the chair that the DePasquales graciously provided for Santa for many years. Never one to turn down a request for help when it had to be given. They have been there for us throughout the years, whether it was for the use of his chair, for Santa's workshop, pizza donations for volunteer appreciation parties, or advice on planning an event. Congratulations to you both, and thank you for all you do. And by the way, can we reserve the chair and your services again next December? Debbie Cipriani and staff.
We had a little discussion, which one is going to talk. Matt and Chuck, we only have one award to split between the two of you, but I'm sure when the restaurant opens up, you can proudly show it. So.
Okay. It's our privilege to pass this along. Well, actually, no, we had our own, so you're getting something similar to what we had. But it's our privilege to welcome you to being the new good guys, and we hope you enjoy your year as much as we have.
Thank you
so.
very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Why don't you guys stay up here now?
Okay. And you might want to put that in there. Okay, thank you.
Chuck, Matt, stay.
Stay.
We're supposed to stay here.
Okay, and now we're going to hear from the Wilmington Good Guys for the year 2005, Matt and Chuck DePasquale.
Let the younger one go first. I am truly honored and very surprised. Thank you very, very much. What we do for everybody in the town is from our heart. We were raised to do this. We know no different. We love our town. We love the people in our town. We love our employees. And like I said, everything that we do because we want to do it. Not because we have to do it, because we want to do it. My father raised us, my mother raised us that way, and I hope to raise my kids that way. And I just hope the town appreciates it in the future as much as they do now. Thank you.
I guess anything more than Matt has already said. We came from our parents, and we were taught to do things, and this is how we did them, and this is how we live. I mean, we live to work, we support our families, we love our families, and this is what we do. And you know, my father was brought up in this town, we were brought up in this town, and
it's about the town, it's not just, being in business, it's, whether it's any sporting activity that comes to us, we do the Rocco Club, we have the football team, there's, a number of things that we do, and, but we just do it because this is who we are, and I just can't say anything more about that. But I do want to mention that this plaque is a lot nicer than the first plaque that my father got 37 years ago. And also, very kind of here, that the fish that's much bigger than my father, than the much bigger fish my father caught than your fish, is going back up on the mantle when we reopen. And just to thank you to everybody, thank you to all support from everybody, and we can't say anymore. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and congratulations. I would like to get you out of here a little early, but Michael Tyler kind of got carried away. Good night and drive safely. Thank you. Yes, and could all the good guys come up front here? We'll get
It's going to be at the restaurant next year.